Okay, so almost done with my big video that's coming up. It's gonna be a video about Transformers Legacy. I'm actually nearly done editing. It's pretty cool. I think it's gonna be a pretty good video when it comes out. Anyways, like I said, I originally wasn't gonna make this, but I got it in the mail recently, and I thought a quick video about it would be pretty cool. So I originally didn't plan on this, but because I haven't uploaded in a couple of weeks, I thought, why not? This would be a nice video to pump out in between the wait from the previous video and the next one. So yeah. Anyways, I think it's also kind of necessary because I've been a little bit negative. The past three videos I've done, the worst War for Cybertron toy, talking about the Dinobots, and the worst, I think, Transformer in years. I think it's time to dial it back and talk about something positive. If I'm going to be talking about the worst of the worst, why not talk about the best of the best? And yes, I am going to be going back to Minimates, because I think I've acquired the best Minimate that has ever been made. I think there's a couple of contenders that, what is the best Minimate? Some of the ones were from Marvel vs. Capcom 3. That was, I think, the best wave ever. We got MODOK, which is incredible. We got Amaterasu, which is basically 50 times better than the Pterodog, which I already thought was a really good Minimate. Speaking of which, I think the Theater Ghost is pretty good. I think it's actually better than the Washington Square Ghost. I regret giving that an S+, but yeah. There's the Brood. I remember first seeing that being like, that's a Minimate? Holy shit. I think what makes a Minimate good is less about the applications, the paint applications, though those are important too, but just the creativity to acquire the likeness of a character. And originally, I thought the best Minimate was this guy, this beautiful boy, the 4-pack lizard, which is the newest one that came out like 2014, and he doesn't want to stand because I don't have a stand. Let me lower this because this is going to be a tiny little review. Yeah, this guy is really cool. Not only is it a really good representation of the lizard, but it also is a great 2-in-1 because you can have lizard to Kirk Connors, and I don't have all the parts on me right now. They're in storage. I will get them out when I do a big review of the 4-pack, but it's going to be scripted, so it'll take a bit. So when I said I was going to do another Minimate review, it was going to be that one and a second Ghostbusters Minimate video, but I don't even have all the Minimates for that one. I just have one more set, and it'll take a bit because it's kind of expensive. So, I thought there was no way that would be topped. And granted, that one's still probably my favorite Minimate because the lizard's my favorite character, but I think I have a honorable runner-up for my second favorite, and this one I think is a little better. The best Minimate of all time, in my humble opinion, Red Onslaught. I mean, let's move this closer. Now, Onslaught, I think, is a character who is highly underrated because when you talk about like the best Marvel villains, of course, Thanos, Galactus, sometimes Apocalypse, but this guy kind of gets thrown under the rug. I mean, granted, during the 90s, he was pretty popular because, well, it was X-Men. X-Men back then was all of the craze. And, I think Onslaught, he's kind of the same thing with Lizard, where not only does he look cool, he's also a pretty interesting character because the story of him, if you're not aware, is I think Magneto took all of the adamantium out of Wolverine, and Professor X, as we all know, is a pretty chill dude, was really, really fed up with Magneto at this point. It's like, you actually went out of your way and did that. That is fucking shitty. So he put him in a coma and took his mind, I believe. And, Professor X, despite trying to be a pacifist and being proactive for mutant rights, is starting to get a little fed up. And with Magneto in his mind now, that culminated, Professor X snapped, and he became Onslaught, who is... Can we say that he's stronger than Thanos? Because Thanos is pretty strong. He fought, I think, Hulk, the Thing, Thor, and someone else. I think it was Hyperion, or was it Silver Surfer? It's one of those. He just kicked the shit out of all four of them at once, but in order to beat this guy, because I think he's really strong, but all of his powers are like above physical. It's psychokinetic level because it's Professor X. They literally, Jean Grey had to literally suppress all of Bruce Banner's persona to make nothing but Hulk. No Bruce Banner in sight, just a mindless Hulk. And they had to make it so he hit beyond reality just to tear open his armor a little bit. And then everyone literally no joke, Onslaught and got him out. Because I think he took Franklin Richards. Yeah, he was like peak OP. So, is he stronger than Thanos? Is he stronger than Nimrod? Probably. I think Nimrod would try to calculate where his weakness is, and that he'd burst. He'd be like, error. And I think later, I don't remember entirely all this stuff with Red Skull, but I think Red Skull took Professor X's brain and became a Red Onslaught. I don't remember the details. I'm not a big fan of Red Onslaught. But yeah, that's Onslaught. A great character. I think actually they could find, since they have X-Men and they have Fantastic Four, I feel like once they stop doing the boring saga where it's like, ooh, it's Captain Marvel, it's Miss Marvel, it's like all these secondary versions of characters like Iron Man and all these other characters you don't fucking care about. Once they reintroduce the Fantastic Four and the X-Men, I think they could find a workaway in, although it'd have to take a while from now. They'd have Professor X, he'd get kind of annoyed, all this falls in the same plot shit that he does in the comics, becomes Onslaught. I don't know about the Franklin Richards stuff, but, maybe you can, stop Red's Onslaught early, and then later have Red Skull come back, because he's still around. He's, in the area with, I think, the Soul Stone? One of those. He comes out, he gets Professor X's mind, and then he possesses Onslaught, or he gets Onslaught. And then, in order to beat him, Jean Grey does the thing with Hulk, but this time, instead of being a pussy, he goes from a pussy-ass pacifist to the strongest version of Hulk, and he becomes legit World Breaker Hulk. That's how you could introduce him. I think that would be a good idea. That would be a cool way of doing it. But anyways, yeah. I like Onslaught. I think he's a very underrated character, and he could potentially have a comeback. Now, like I said, I'm more of a fan of normal Onslaught, at least design-wise, than Red Onslaught. So, why do I say that this is the best Minimate? Well, just like how the best Minimate of Onslaught is the Red Onslaught, and how the best Marvel Legend of Onslaught is Red Onslaught, despite the fact that it's Red Onslaught, you even get the alternate Ed to make a normal Onslaught, and I really like that. But before I do that, I have to say that even though I'm not a big fan of Red Onslaught, I think he looks a little goofy. I think he still looks, I think that's a really good paint applications, really good decos for Red Skull. He looks sinister, he looks mean, it looks cool. I don't hate that. If it came with just that, I'd probably be a little disappointed because I much prefer this head, but I don't mind that. So I kind of is a pain to get these parts off, and I guess, oh no, wait, never mind, the waist doesn't like to connect. I was about to say, let's just take this off to show you how they do the big fig for Minimates, but nope, that is a secret. It's kind of difficult to get the head on. I'm gonna have to do this off camera. There you go. Actually, I didn't have to. And that is really good. I like the flat colors with the red and the purple. I think it's a great color scheme. The old one's pretty good too. It's a shiny one. That one's not too bad itself. But that is a really nice rendition of Onslaught. That looks so, so good. Let me get like a tiny little Minimate out just to show you. This fucking stupid ass looking Captain America. Or no, I think this one might work a little better because this guy's also supposed to be big. He's also still a little sticky. I need to watch this guy again. Colossus. He's still pretty much towers over a normal Minimate. Because, well, like I said, with the, and he's falling over because I didn't give him his display stand, even though he came with one. Here's another big guy, I already talked about him, and you already know why I don't really like him. But when it comes to how they made him look bigger, is really cool. He has the bigger body, the bigger shoulders, the giant gloves. The bigger piece here is, I guess it's mandatory, I don't know. And then they have the little pieces here to make his legs big. Everything is expanded instead of just making them a little higher like what they used to do. It's like, oh, he's got a bigger piece. And they just did that, and that was that. He just look kind of weird. And I think even still, he's bigger than Abomination. They did all the parts to make a bigger Minimate, and they went above and beyond. The gloves have so much nice details. The body itself looks fantastic. I wish there was a little shell piece back there. Maybe put a little Professor X on there. That would have been cool, but that is asking for way too much. This still looks impressive. I mean, the detail on this is just incredible. And that head sculpt, again. I really like the Magneto helmet. And you have those beady little eyes, which, that is really nice. That is really cool. The waist likes to fall apart. And compare this to Abomination, which this is a later Minimate. They do have the muscle details, but they do it in a way where it actually looks like a comic book character, whereas this just looks... I don't even know what that's supposed to look like. It just looks weird. I guess the back looks fine, albeit it still looks weird. But, you know, this kind of looks cheap. It looks kind of... The detail makes it look kind of cheap, whereas this... I mean, the muscle work, the muscle detailing is fantastic. It looks really good. Now, an Onslaught, a really accurate Onslaught that has, you know, the head of Red Skull, that is really cool. But I don't think that's enough to make it the best of the best. But they went above and beyond. Here's all these parts to make a Red Skull. I'm not fucking kidding. This is literally a 2-in-1. You can have both a Red Skull and an Onslaught. Now, I remember they said that this was incomplete because he's missing a toe, but you know, it's just a standard black toe. I guess we're gonna have another part separation. Yeah, Storm, we're gonna be using you again. Actually, I have an even better because I got this piece of shit Minimate in a lot. Listen, I like Cyclops, but this is my third Cyclops, and it's easily the stupidest looking, so I'll just use one of his feet. You live another day, Storm. You live another... I don't know why I'm bullying Storm. I think she's a really cool character. I'm just an asshole. And here he is. Red Skull, the alternate Minimate you get out of it. And this isn't just some small minor thing like, oh yeah, we're just going to half-ass a Red Skull. No, this is still really good. So if you like Red Skull, you have a really nice option for one. I mean, granted, there are a lot of leftover parts. I also didn't use the normal arms. They're just normal black arms, to my knowledge. But this is so tight on that I just couldn't get it off. And no, the Cyclops has too many like X-Men panels on it, and Storms were too loose and glossy, so I ended up having to borrow just another Minimate with black arms. I'm sorry, Peter Venkman, I'll give them back after this. But I mean, this is just incredible. It's a really nice rendition of Red Skull, and they didn't have to. And again, one of his feet was missing, and you wouldn't be able to tell because it's just normal black Minimates. So, I mean, it's still a really impressive Minimate. I mean, you get a great Red Skull. I mean, you compare this to, like, this really shitty Captain America one. Dude, Red Skull's about to kick the shit out of some poor Captain America. Oh, no, guys, it is Red Skull. I'm going to get you. Okay. But, yeah, it looks so neat. It looks a great representation of the character. And I forgot to go over articulation with Onslaught. I'll get back to that in just a second. But he's got the standard posability. I think the only thing that's not there is maybe his waist is a little hampered. But that's it. That is literally it. And you think, okay, well, I mean, it's just that they didn't go that hard. It's just Red Skull. That's cool, but like, okay, fine, whatever. That's just one thing, all right? But no! They went even higher! He has the missing hand. I'm not entirely sure if he had this in the comics. I don't remember the Red Onslaught saga at all. I'm sorry. And he even has a hand with the molded-in Tesseract. They gave him literally everything. But Mr. T, he doesn't have his gun. Okay, dude. Alright. Give them a fucking break. They gave us a handless Red Skull. They already went way beyond that. I mean, holy shit. Minimates, did you have to do this? You did not have to do this, but you did. And keep in mind, this is a standard Minimate. This wasn't even in a box set. It was paired with something. You could get just a normal Minimate, or you could get a shitty Minimate, like this piece of shit. And you can also get this guy, and he comes with all this. All of this. This is... I would expect this from just like... just this guy for the cost of 2 Minimates. But no! Same price, I think. So in terms of articulation, he is unfortunately a little bit inhibited. His head, I guess, moves normally. Not really when it's like this. It's mostly a swivel and you're just going to be moving the helmet anyways. Shoulders are, of course, actually they're not too hampered. The elbow, unfortunately, this one's in a very unhelpful spot out of the box, so this one bends perfectly fine. The legs are, of course, a little bit hampered. I mean, his legs don't bend as far. They can move forward and back, I guess, but not really out. And the waist technically can move, but it's very loose. I mean, just that tiny little piece plug into there when it's supposed to plug in a lot farther. So yeah, articulation is a little less, but I mean, come on. Give them a break. Give them a break. Give them a minor break. But I think overall, I mean, do I even have to say it? It's one thing to pack this guy in as big and as many parts as he has like this. And it's another thing to still give him an alternate head. But the fact that you get an entire fucking other Minimate in it, and that Minimate also goes above and beyond with its accessories. Come on, man. There's so much packed in with this thing. This isn't, I mean, alright, listen. Lizard turning into Kurt Connors, having a 2-in-1 with them, that's one thing. That's already really good, but would you ever expect an Onslaught and a Red Skull to be a 2-in-1? I wouldn't even ask Hasbro to do that as an official Transformer, yet here Minimates are doing exactly that. Now, granted, this isn't something you can do occasionally, like, oh, I like this, I'm playing with Onslaught. Alright, I'm bored, now turn him into Red Skull just every couple of seconds. You're gonna have it in one way or the other. I'm probably, unless I get parts to, like, fill him in, like, red legs, so I can put this on, it fits a little bit better so it's not gray, and a red body. I feel like if I find that, then I'll have both of them out at once, but, I mean, just the fact that you can do it. The fact that they can do it. The audacity to do that. The bravery is just, I mean, it's out of this world. It's 2 fantastic representations of amazing villains in Marvel, and they're unrelated. Case closed. This was the best Minimate ever. I mean, even if it was just like this, I'd still consider this to be like one of the best Minimates, because it's a really nice rendition of Red's Onslaught. But the fact that it's also a really good Red Skull, I mean, come on. So, is there any question? Yes, there is actually. He goes above and beyond. That is the SSS ranking. That is immensely difficult to get. That is not going to be common. There's only one other figure that I own that I think even goes that far. S plus already is the best of the best. SSS means you go beyond what I would ever consider you to do and nail it. Technically, he's not flawless. His waist falls apart a little bit. The Red Skull doesn't have a weapon. And, like, I don't know, his articulation is not the best. But, like, come on. The stuff he does right, the amount of stuff he does right is unbelievable. So anyways, that was my review of Red Onslaught. Minimates Red Onslaught. I genuinely ask, what could even be better than this? I'm looking. You're looking at, in my opinion, the two best Minimates ever right now. I mean, I'm done with the bullshit. I'm done with the negativity. This right here is peak. You know what? Let's get it in. Let's get it in. My third best. Let's get it in here. Come on, get down here. There you go. I mean, come on. Win. Professor X snapped and he became Onslaught, who's... can we say that... Oh, wait, cat review. What are you doing? Do you like Onslaught? Is that your favorite comic? Is he your favorite villain? Yeah? Are you just gonna sit... Are you just gonna sit there like an asshole? Alright. What are you doing? You think you... What are you doing? Kitty cat. You an old lady? What are you doing? I got a review to make. I gotta talk about the red beefy Magneto. Can you do this some other time? Go on. Can you go? Thank you, ma'am. Once they reintroduce the Fantastic Four and the X-Men... Man. Can you go? Can you go, please? Can you please go? You're being needy right now.